All right, I definitely have gray hairs from over the weekend with all the TikTok updates. It was mind-numbing, hair-pulling, frustrating, crazy, wild, series of events, lots of whiplash. Everybody's freaking out. Let me retrace what happened in the last 48 to 72 hours for all you guys, and what's going to be maybe happening moving forward for TikTok. Not Nostradamus here, not trying to predict everything, just looking at the evidence that's out there and kind of sharing with you guys, I think, the state of things. So I think on Saturday, TikTok turned off. You popped open the app. You got a notification basically saying that they, have to shut the app down, etc. And then about people were freaking out. Didn't know what to do. It was kind of like the reality set in. Okay, TikTok's gone. People were posting screenshots of the app notification basically on Twitter or different platforms. I went to Blue Sky. You saw a ton of people flooding to Blue Sky, being like, "What is this app?" You saw people on Twitter, you saw Meta updates, people complaining about it, like, I got nowhere to go. When I go to the bathroom, I can't go on TikTok anymore. I do think the sad thing is it's a big platform for monetization for a lot of creators. A lot of big business was happening there for people, including myself, and I just think it was a big bummer all around that we've come to this point. 12 hours later, it was back on with a notification that basically shouted out Trump on it. You could see it said, I'm going to read it. Thanks to your patience and support as a result of President Trump's efforts, TikTok is back in the US. You can continue to create, share, and discover all the things you love. But when you went back on the app, it almost felt like the thing had changed. Maybe it's subjective, and I think it was crazy. Then you saw everyone flooding back to LinkedIn and Twitter were literally on fire this weekend. People posting, jumping in people's comments, stating what they think how they feel, what's going to happen next. So then you basically could go back on. It was like a little bit of a delay, and then you basically could go back on the app like nothing happened. Some of the big creators were posting kind of funny videos, like what's going on. Everyone's confused. While we were off for like 12 hours, 24 hours, and there wasn't a lot of original American content, you had creators from like New Zealand and Australia and Canada, different places that were still up on TikTok. They're posting now that they're Americans, they're gone, and kind of making fun of like some of the trends and different things and like the content that they're not going to see. And then also like, hey, maybe we'll get our chance to be TikTok superstars. The reality is there's a lot of people in America compared to some of these countries, and we make a lot of content. So I think the app was different for a lot of people. I definitely got some gray hairs. I mean, this is crazy stress. I was getting, text and messages and Slacks and different things all over the weekend. I saw a lot of social media opinions. Again, LinkedIn, Saturday and Sunday on fire. Taking a step back, like people are arguing, was it Trump, was it Biden, who started the ban? Because Trump initially brought the ban up. I think it was in 2020 when it was the servers weren't in America, and basically they were realizing that TikTok was using the data. I think they were spying on some news reporters. So then Trump had for everybody kind of forced TikTok to put their servers in the U.S. and I think Oracle manages them, and then it's supposedly all the data is in the U.S. The big controversy here is really that ByteDance is owned, I think, 10% by the Chinese government, and basically we want some sort of divestiture, or I think Trump's talking about some sort of partnership now, which is interesting. I don't know. We'll see. He's giving it basically 3 months. In all this, he's giving it 3 more months, basically to survive and him to negotiate like for keeping the app alive. The whole other craziness within this is Meta had all these crazy updates. So CapCut and TikTok are both gone from the App Store. So you can't get the App Store. But then Meta announced its own version of CapCut. I think it's called Edits. It hasn't released yet, but they're saying it's going to be in the App Store soon. Meta had this update on your Facebook. It basically asked you to connect your TikTok to your business page. Your primary business page was like really weird timing. It was like the day before TikTok shut down. So is Meta trying to do some sort of like grab here? TikTok's not in there, so the app can't update. In theory, the app's not going to get any better. There's probably some version of the algorithm, not working, and it won't feel the same. I think there's blood in the water, is what I was saying on a lot of posts. Some people are like, oh, TikTok's going to be back better than ever, but I don't think that's the case. I think you have a lot of creators that are making a lot of money, and things really shut down. There's potential that in 3 months it's shut down again. I think it's going to have to earn its trust back. It's going to have to really earn it back. It might dial up the algorithm. It might be a great time to post because you're going to have to fuel creators to get interested in coming back. They might, incentivize for doing that. But you're going to see a lot of people diversify. You're going to see a lot of people going all in other channels, still pushing people to different channels. And will it feel the same? At the end of the day, especially if the app isn't updating or it's not connected to the App Store, there could be all sorts of issues with just the stability of it for a while until Apple adds it back. And I think behind the scenes, the Trump administration is working on trying to get it back in the App Store, let it update, let business continue as usual, so that the platform doesn't get rocked. And this is basically his perspective has been competition, right? At the end of the day, if it feels right, the deal feels right, it's good for Meta and all these other platforms to have competition. So it was a wild 24 to 48 hours. That's everything I know. I don't want to get to the semantics of the politics of it, but at the end of the day, what I would be doing if I was a business owner, someone who made a lot of money on TikTok, is I would continue the path of diversification, building your email list, pushing on other channels, and then waiting to see if TikTok comes back. I do think there might be like a quick golden moment, old content, different things kind of going wild, because TikTok needs to get people back on the platform, building trust that they can build their communities there. But there's still going to be a lot of messaging. 3 months, there's a potential that it hangs. The law is still kind of the law right now. Can Trump make it work? We'll see. But it was a crazy weekend. That's everything I know. Hope that was helpful.